Welcome to a practice of slow movement and body awareness. I invite you to find a comfortable seat. Whatever that means for you, finding a way to sit that feels comfortable, supportive, a place where your body starts to notice the ground beneath it. You might move around a little bit here and just feel the left hip, the right hip, the left knee, the right knee. Moving your body into balance and stability. I invite you to either soften your eyes and look down at the floor in front of you, or softly close your eyes, a way of coming inward, paying attention to what's happening now. Starting with deep, slow breaths through the nose, let's inhale, lifting our shoulders up closer to our ears, and then we'll slowly lower the shoulders back and down. Just allowing our shoulders and our breath to work together. The only thing we have to do today is pay attention to the way our breath is moving, the way our body is moving. It's a practice of observation. And softly dropping the shoulders down the back. Let's turn our palms up on our laps, and on the inhale, we'll open the hands a little wider, and on the exhale, we'll squeeze our hands into a soft fist. Let's do that a few times, just moving hands with breath. You might imagine your hands are kind of like your lungs, receiving breath and squeezing breath out. And as we're moving our hands, see about feeling if your belly is also expanding with that breath and softly drawing in. The next time the hands open, let's extend the fingers out to the sides, and we'll inhale to touch our fingers to our shoulders and exhale to touch our fingers to the floor. And the palms are just staying up. Feeling movement in our elbows. Imagining just tracing our arms through water, and we don't want to create a big ripple on that water, and so we're moving a little more slowly. Let's extend the arms long. Inhale, reaching up. And turning the palms down. Exhale, slowly lowering the arms. Using your breath as the guide, how slowly can you move here? And what do you notice as you move slowly? Just reaching through the air around you, gathering and lowering. Reaching our arms overhead and softly lowering the left hand. Coming into any side bend that feels right for your body. We'll inhale right back to center and switch to the other side. Moving again with breath, letting the breath determine the pace and the body moving with the breath. How slow can you move with your breath? You've completed that on both sides, reaching the arms high. Let's turn the palms forward and slowly lower the arms down in front of us, almost weightless and effortless. And we'll turn the fingers down, lifting up with the back of the wrists. And turning the palms, slowly lowering down. You might think of Tai Chi while you're doing this motion. If you've never done Tai Chi, you might think of painting a fence. Slow and smooth with breath. Allowing the hands to lower to the lap. Let's move one ear to one shoulder and invite ourselves into a nice, easy neck half circle. Back and forth with breath. Giving ourselves permission anywhere along the way to pause if something feels like it wants our attention a little longer. We have option to stay in one place or keep moving. Coming to an upright position with the head neutral. Let's begin some torso circles. And you might start small. Beginning to connect breath with movement. And the pace of your breath determines the pace of your circle. The depth of your breath determines the size of your circle. And just keeping our eyes down or closed so that each of us feels comfortable moving in our own way, without any comparison or judgment, just having our own experience with this movement and this breath. When you feel ready, reversing the direction, exploring the opposite way. Again, giving yourself permission to pause if there's a place that wants a little more attention. Let's slowly find our way back to neutral. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, let's just notice what's here. Taking in all the layers of us, what's here right now. And we'll slowly transition our way around to a tabletop position. Extending the arms out long, taking the knees a little bit wider if you like. Let's shift our bodies forward and backwards. Starting small in a flowing child's pose. And then allowing our breath to determine the pace of our movement and the size of our movement. You might be moving small, or you might be coming all the way forward and all the way back. There is no way to do this wrong unless something hurts. And when we find those places of pain or sharpness, that's just a sign to back off and do a little less. Let's come into a tabletop position. Just finding 4 stable legs to our table. And on our inhale, let's pick up our right hand and our left knee, noticing the strength in our core. And we'll begin to reach out forward and back into a spinal balance. And exhale to replace. Switching sides, starting with 1 inch and then reaching out from the middle. Breath in. And we exhale to replace. Do that a few times, just noticing your strength, your reach, your center. When we've evened that out on both sides, let's tuck our toes and find our way up into downward facing dog. And let's make this a really wiggly dog, a curious dog, a playful dog. Bending knees, pedaling heels, shifting weight. It might feel good to raise a leg and open a hip. It might feel good to roll through the feet, to shift our bodies forward and back. Curious and playful in this downward facing dog. And slowly walking our feet toward our hands. Let's bend our knees and come down into this forward fold. And we'll just start to walk our fingertips to the outsides of our feet, moving in slow motion as we examine the hips, the legs, the muscles, the back. And finding our way back to center. Let's bend our knees a little more deeply, pressing hands to thighs, lifting up into a supported chair. We'll move through standing cat and cow. So on the inhale, let's open our chest slightly forward. On the exhale, slightly rounding the spine. Starting to move with breath. The breath determines the pace of our movements and the size of our movements. Maybe this is small, maybe it's big. Your body, your practice. Slowly rising up to stand in mountain pose, feeling the earth beneath our feet. Let's take a moment here to rock our body from side to side, feeling left foot and right foot. And then settling onto both. Feeling the ground supporting us. Rolling the shoulders up, back, and down a couple of times. And then we'll explore slow movement once again with the arms. So stepping the feet just a little bit wider. On the inhale, let's raise the arms right out in front of our shoulders. Open the arms out to the sides. Reach the arms high. And then softening the knees, we'll just let the arms fall down. We'll inhale to the front, open, lift, and lower. So when I do this, I breathe in 3 sips of air and then I really exhale on the 4th. In, 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 and out. And those 3 sips could be slow, continuous, or it could sound like this is known as the breath of joy. You're welcome to take it smaller or bigger, faster or slower. No one is watching. This is you breathing and moving in your body. We'll do one more 3-part breath. And then let's all reach the arms high. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, just slowly melt the hands down in front of you. Resting, arms at our sides, mountain pose. Notice again. Noticing what's here. Energy, body, breath. And if you like, turn to face the long edge of your mat so that you can step your feet a little bit wider. Softening the knees, let's move through sunflowers. And we'll move slowly, inhaling the arms up, exhaling to bend the knees, hinge the hips, and scoop low. Again, you have choice here, faster or slower, larger or smaller. Your breath determines the pace of your movements. If you have a tendency to always be a fast mover, what might it feel like to slow down? And if you have a tendency to always choose the more gentle, slow version, what might it be like to speed up a little? No right, no wrong, just an exploration. The next time we reach our arms up, let's pause here, rooting down through solid, strong feet, dropping the left arm, reaching the right fingers, and moving with breath, lifting and lowering the opposite direction. Let's reach both of our arms up, gently lifting our chin to look up at our overstretched arms. And then turning the palms toward the ceiling, slow motion, lowering the arms down in front of us. Floating the arms up again as if our arms are underwater. And painting that fence in front of us. You can soften your knees and lift and lower here. We'll do 2 more of these slow motion arm circles. Coming down into this deeper squat, let's bring our hands to our thighs. And reaching one shoulder toward the opposite knee, coming down into this stretch for the back, shifting from side to side. Just pressing against the inner knee lightly, shoulder to opposite knee. What are you feeling and noticing in your body as you move from side to side? If there's ever a place you'd like to stay, giving ourselves permission to pause or move. Let's go one more time to each side. And coming into the center, reaching fingertips to the ground. You're welcome to use a block here if you'd like the floor a little closer. Let's heel toe the feet just a little bit wider and put some movement in here. Bending one knee and then the other. That same slow, gentle movement with breath, avoiding hard edges. Next time the left knee bends, let's walk our fingers toward the edge of the mat, coming into a kneeling lunge. And then tucking our toes, lifting the knee, walking back through center all the way to the opposite edge of the mat, right foot forward, left knee down, pausing in a lunge. And then back and forth. We've got lots of time here. So as you come through from one side to the other, if there's any place where your body wants to stay and explore, let's give ourselves that permission of movement or stillness. This is your mat. This is your 6 foot by 2 foot private island, your oasis. This is your vantage point. You're just here to observe and explore your body, your breath. When you feel satisfied with that sequence, we will eventually find ourselves back in a tabletop position, and there's no rush. You can continue that series, and we'll just meet here again in cat and cow. Remember that a happy spine is one of the keys to a happy life. So keeping our spine healthy, mobile, it's a wonderful tool. When you're ready, begin the shift towards a seated position. Legs extended out in front of us. And we'll create a little flow here, turning the fingertips towards us from behind, elbows hugging in, chest lifted. And this is a great place to stay. This is a stretch for the wrists and also the chest and shoulders. If you'd like, you can explore pointing your toes and lifting the hips a little. Or staying right here. On an in-breath, let's reach our arms overhead and exhale to softly fold over our legs. And let's move with our breath a few times, reaching up high Exhale, planting our hands behind us. Inhale, either shifting the chest forward or lifting up into this inclined plank and back down. Moving with breath. Again, if there's a place you'd like to stay, let's give ourselves permission to get exactly what we need on our mats today. I'm just here with suggestions. I'm a guide. You are the practitioner. This is your practice. When you feel ready to release that sequence or pose, let's go ahead and lower down onto our backs. We're planting our feet on the earth. And let's move into a flowing bridge. Inhaling to lift the hips and come up onto the backs of the shoulders. And exhaling to roll back down. Allowing our breath to determine the pace and the size of these movements. And you can keep this movement small and close to the ground, or it might feel good to you to explore lifting the hips a little higher, bringing arms underneath you. Maybe even lifting into wheel pose if that's calling for your attention today. Choosing what your breath invites you into. There's a place you'd like to pause and take a few breaths. Go ahead and explore that for yourself. Where does breath flow most freely? Is it in your movements or in your stillness? When you're ready, lowering hips to the floor, taking the arms out into a T shape. Heel toe your feet so that your pinky toes feel the edges of your mat, and then let's just windshield wiper our knees back and forth. The breath determining the pace of the movement. Giving ourselves permission to pause on either side for a twist or to continue movement. Let's start to bring our knees back together in the center, and we'll touch the soles of our feet together, allowing the knees to drop open. Let's bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart. This gesture of self-care, of self-protection, of coming back to ourselves. Allow the movement of breath under your hands to be your focus. If you're comfortable, you can stay right here for final rest. there's another position or shape you'd like to place your body in, you're welcome to extend legs, change the position of your arms and hands, or find some props. Inviting ourselves to come into rest in Shavasana. Once we find this resting position, although the body is no longer moving, let's give our attention to the small movements of breath. The way the breath is lifting the belly and lowering the belly. The way the breath stretches the tiny muscles between the ribs. You might feel the waves of breath in your chest, maybe even out into your shoulders. Imagine lying by a body of water, and the breath is the waves coming and going in and out. Predictable, steady breath like a wave. Before we begin moving our bodies again, take a moment to notice what is here now. Noticing physical body resting on earth, gravity, the sense of what is below you holding you. Noticing the layer of breath and energy. Is the energy more calm than when we started? Is there any more peace or ease here? Noticing the layer of thought and feeling. Remembering it all gets to be here. The layer of wisdom, of knowing, truth. And the layer of connection, that which connects us all, this golden thread, kindness, compassion, love, acceptance. From that place of wholeness, of awareness of the whole being that you are, begin to wiggle fingers and toes. Begin to introduce movement back into your body in some way that moves from small body parts to larger, joints, bones, muscles. Stretching, yawning, and making our way to one side and back to a seat. Let's take the right palm and turn it up. This is known as our yang or our masculine hand, our hand of strength, stability. Let's bring this hand to our belly, which is also our center of power, our inner fire. Let's use this gesture to just acknowledge our inner strength, our fortitude, our resilience. And then we'll turn up the left palm, which is our feminine hand, our yin hand. This is our nurturing side. Let's bring that soft hand over our heart, honoring our place of love and compassion, our ability to nurture ourselves and others. This place of strong love and loving strength. Let's slowly bring the palms of our hands together. And we'll just bow our heads softly, taking a moment to honor ourselves for whatever it took to get to our mats today. Let's honor ourselves for the courage to get here and to remain here, observing, breathing, witnessing ourselves. Acknowledging in this moment the other people practicing with us and the courage it took for them to show up, to be present and observe and witness their bodies. And then honoring our connection. Thank you all for your part in this practice. Namaste.